Hey, what is up, you rainbow royalty? Ice? You want some ice? I am Ace Explains, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the asexual spectrum. It is my calling! Okay, so we're just going to get right into it. So firstly, asexual, if you don't know what that means, it's basically somebody that is not interested in sex. But it can also be used as an umbrella term for all things under the asexual spectrum. So there's a whole asexual spectrum. So this asexual spectrum is often referred to as the Acespike. It's just a shortened version of asexual and spectrum. So there are a lot of different asexual identities. So we're going to be talking about some of them here, and I might do a part 2 to this if you guys want. So firstly, we're going to be talking about the more commonly known ones under the asexual spectrum. So we're going to be starting with gray asexual. And basically, when somebody is gray asexual, it means that they only very rarely experience sexual attraction. And this is not like a perfect definition, because it could mean that they very rarely feel it, or it's just something that's very weak. It can vary. Like, they only feel it under certain circumstances as well. So gray ace has a lot of different meanings, but basically it means that somebody is not fully asexual. So it is also an umbrella term. So there's an umbrella term under an umbrella term. But it's an umbrella term for the asexual spectrum things that actually do experience some sexual attraction. So getting into the ones that are not umbrella terms, we're going to talk about demisexual. So demisexual basically means that somebody does not feel that attraction towards somebody else until they have formed a really strong emotional bond with that person. And keep in mind that just because they have a strong emotional bond with a person doesn't automatically mean they're going to be attracted to them. It just means that there is the possibility that they will if they have that strong emotional bond. And the complete opposite of demisexual is a fraysexual, which means that somebody only feels that attraction if a person is only a stranger or an acquaintance, but the attraction fades if they get to know the person better. And before I go on, I just want to say that for all these different identities, whether it be Frey, Demi, or the ones that I'm going to be talking about, they can actually be combined with other sexualities, and you're just like, what? This is so confusing. And don't worry, you'll learn about it. What happens is you just take the first part of like an asexual identity, so for example, gray, then you add it onto another sexual identity. So for example, if somebody was demi-homosexual, it basically means that they would only have the chance to feel that attraction if it was a person that was their same gender. Otherwise, they just don't feel attracted to anybody else. So it is only with the same gender that when they have a strong emotional bond, there's a chance that they feel attraction. So keep that in mind. So you can combine sexualities with an asexual thing. Pretty interesting, right? So now on to Aceflux. So Aceflux is basically where somebody is on the asexual spectrum, but how they feel varies on the day. So for some days, they might just feel completely asexual. Some days, they might feel like they're demisexual or gray asexual. So it varies depending on the day and just how they feel. So another one is Acespike. So this one, it means that somebody doesn't have any sexual attraction, but then just kind of out of the blue, they just have this sudden urge. They just feel attraction just out of nowhere. And it occasionally happens, and then it just dies down right after. So inactsexual is one where somebody actually feels that attraction, even though they are what is considered sex repulsed, which means that they don't want anything to do with it, yet they still feel that attraction. And it is considered the opposite of Bellussexual, and I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, let me know if I did. And that is where somebody is interested in like the sexual actions or the aesthetic of it, but they don't actually feel any attraction. So with being sex repulsed, that can also be known as apothisexual, which means somebody just doesn't like the idea of sex, but that doesn't mean that they just hate it for everybody. For some, it's just they hate it for themselves, but they're fine with it if other people do it, as long as it's not with them. So lithosexual, also known as Akoisexual, is where somebody feels that attraction, but they do not want it reciprocated. So if they find that somebody feels that way about them, then they will lose that attraction, or they might just feel uncomfortable. And then finally, reciprosexual is where somebody doesn't feel that attraction unless they know that the other person feels that way, and then they may feel that attraction to that person. Alright, well that is all I have for you today. So if you enjoyed, be sure to let me know, and if there are some questions you have, or some other terms that you don't know and you want explaining, please let me know in the comments section down below and I will reply. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.